And we are the co-founders of Transfiguring Adoption on here. And one thing that we're really excited about coming up in, hey to everyone on Twitter, we're really excited about coming up in 2018 as we are going to be offering a trip to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida for 8 families, foster adoptive families, to come with us and 2 other trauma-informed volunteer staff members that are going to be coming with us. And we're really excited about this. Can you tell people just why are we doing this trip?
Well, traveling with kids who've been exposed to lots of trauma can be challenging. There are special behaviors for them. It can be very anxiety producing to be in a new place, experiencing new things. And so we've been doing that for 9 years now. We've learned a few things along the way, and we would love to help some folks have like one of those just super great vacations, build some great memories and attachment with kiddos. And
we've heard like lots of horror stories of like, when we started asking people if they wanted to do this, if we should do this trip, we had people telling us that they had to cancel their vacations early, that they had to, that they lost like hundreds of dollars on lodging and canceling tickets and different things like that because their kiddo from trauma backgrounds just couldn't hack the vacation, and the families just weren't prepared to deal with it. And we've run into a lot of families that were just upset because they wanted to give their kids that dream Disney vacation or go to Universal or do something big with them and have those memories, and they really felt like they were getting robbed from the memories, not being able to take their kids there. And it's not the kids' fault, like necessarily. Like they've come from a place of trauma, and they just are trying to hack it and do the best they can also. So it's just the family's really getting cheated out. So we're going to be doing this trip. It's going to be in October. And you'd think I would have the dates like ready to go and know what they were, but I don't. It's October, I believe, 7th through 12th. Does that sound right?
I don't know.
It's going to be October 7th through 12th. It's going to be the whole time we're going to be staying on site at Cabana Bay Beach Resort, which is a property of Universal Studios. We'll be there, and we will be right next to Universal. I'm going to be rambling here, so if anyone has any questions, just like shout them out to us. Like we said, Margie and myself are going to be going. We are foster adoptive parents, so we know we've been on vacations with our kids. We've had a lot of fun with our kids on vacation.
We also have had those early years when we didn't really know what we were doing and didn't have a lot of experience, and we came back saying we are never ever going on vacation again. I remember going on our first vacation with our 4, getting there and like just being in convulsions even just after the drive.
Yeah, so we've had rough vacations where we've experienced the trauma behaviors and thought we'd never get to go again. We felt that grief and just that loss. And hey, Jack, glad that you're on here with us. But yeah, so we've had that rough experience. So we do know a few tricks of the trade and what to do. But like I said, Margie and I myself are going to be going. We have over a decade of experience of dealing with kids with traumatic pasts and trauma behaviors. We also have 2 other folks that are going with us that are very trauma informed and just have a plethora of knowledge. So we're going to be kind of we are going to be taking 8 families around the parks, showing you tricks, showing you ways that you can have great memories is basically what our primary goal is going to be, is just to create really cool memories. A lot of people are asking about if we're going to be able to see all the parks. We're really going to try, but that's not our primary goal. Our primary goal is to make sure that your family has some great memories and comes back home just really excited that you had the trip in the first place, as opposed to times when we've come home in those early years thinking we're never doing this again. We're never doing it again.
Or when you had a few things fun happen, but your real memories of the vacation are like total meltdown or something like that, or total behavior issue.
We have those 4 guides that are going to be taking around. The 4 people I will tell you that are going, the 2 other folks that are going with us and us included, we love going to amusement parks. We love going with our kids. We actually like both sides of it, like where Margie and I will actually go to Universal by ourselves. at some point. It's just a different experience as when we're going with kids, but it's just like a special time because you just have, there's not a lot of do's and don'ts when you're on vacation with your kids, because it's just like a special time where you can actually be yourselves, have fun. And it should be a time where you're making memories and coming back home and remembering those times, because you're going to be coming home and you're going to have to work on things and work on trauma behaviors, schoolwork, different things like that. So there will be 4 guides that are going to be going around the whole time. You'll have access to us 4 that are going to be going. There's going to be a dining plan. We're going to be making use of Universal Studios' full dining plan, and you can check that out on our website at transfiguringadoption.com/vacation, and it'll give another link to the dining plan. But essentially, the whole time that we're in the parks, you're going to be fed. There's going to be a full sit-down meal, and we're also going to have a quick service meal, some snacks, and some different things like that. So we're going to make sure that you stay hydrated and your blood sugar levels stay steady. Was that what you were going to say?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. So there will be a dining plan. Meals are included. There are going to be tickets to both parks. Universal, if you don't know, has their Universal Studios Park, and they also have Islands of Adventure. We will be getting tickets for both park. They're called park-to-park passes, right? And we're going to be doing that because a lot of people are interested in going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And if you are, you probably know that there is the Hogwarts Express that goes between both places, and you need a park-to-park pass to go experience the train ride there and back. We're asking that the kids that go along on this trip are 42 inches tall or 40 inches tall or taller. And that's simply because as a group, we want to create memories as a group also. And it's going to be awful hard to create memories as a group when you have to sit out with your child all the time because we're going on rides that they can't ride on. However, we have had some people ask us about a Disney trip. And so we're talking in 2019, maybe doing a Disney trip, and that would offer smaller children, definitely, like families of smaller children, the opportunity to go. What am I leaving out here? The camaraderie. So we're going to have there's spots for 8 foster adoptive families on this trip. So definitely go on our website and check out the next steps, or we can answer any questions that you have about the next steps here. But the reason we're only allowing 8 foster adoptive families to sign up for this is because we have 4 of us guides going around to help your family. And we don't feel like we can do your family justice and help you make those positive, great memories if there are too many family and there's only 4 of us staff. So that'll give us 2 families per staff person to make sure that we can check up on you and pay attention to. Can you think of any other things that I'm leaving out?
Yeah, there's going to be, like you said, the on-site lodging, the dining plan, that's included, the staff guides, but there's also going to be amusement park kits. So we're going to have little toolkits to help you navigate the parks.
Yeah, and this is going to be really special too, because these kits are kits that people have made suggestions to us, or we've tried out in the parks, and it's different tools and resources that really helped us when we go to the parks, help us with our kids that have trauma behavior backgrounds. And we've just found all the things that are going to be in these kits are going to be phenomenal. The price point, we've been working with Thunderbird Travel out in Southern Illinois. Margie and I lived in Southern Illinois for quite some time, and so we talked to Thunderbird Travel about what they could do, what they could help us out with to get foster and adoptive families like a really good deal for this trip, and they were able to get the cost down $1,000 cheaper than what Universal would charge for all of this stuff together. So that was really cool.
Well, what Universal would charge for this trip without the staff guides, without the toolkits,
right,
and without giving you some families with similar backgrounds who can sympathize with your story.
Right. So that's definitely one huge thing, is not just the price, but Margie was just mentioning too, the camaraderie. So like, I know that when in the early days of fostering, we would go to amusement parks, we would do different things, and we'd have a kid have a meltdown, and it's just so embarrassing. And you feel like everyone's eyes are on you, and they're just watching and judging you because It's embarrassing when your 8-year-old, 10-year-old has this 3-year-old fit in the middle in public, and people are looking at you like, why is your 10-year-old doing this? Why are they acting that way? And all these thoughts go through your head, and it just kind of ruins the vacation because you feel like you're being judged. And I know that a lot of people say, well, just don't worry about what other people think, but I think it's hard not to do that.
Well, it's just nice to have other people around you who understand.
Right. So that's totally, this trip is going to have 8 families plus the 4 guides that get it all and understand what we're all going through. So that when your child does have a trauma behavior, or they fall down in the middle of the park and they're 13 and they have a meltdown, you have a bunch of other families that get it. We understand. We don't think it's weird. We completely understand what's going on. We're going to encourage you, support you through that.
And we're going to do everything that we can to have the tools and stuff so that that doesn't happen.
Yes, that's the goal, is to not have that happen. But yeah, so there's just not, it's not going to be a judgmental atmosphere because everyone understands where everyone's coming from. And it's just going to be a lot more fun, a lot great. Again, primary goal is to make sure that your family is having great memories so that you can look back on this trip and just have a lot of fun. And hopefully we're giving you cool like tools and tips and different things along the way. I bet you the other families too going will have great tools and tips for you too, so that when you go on your next vacation without a group, it'll just be that much easier because you've learned all this stuff from other people. So the camaraderie, that's going to be a huge thing. And I've actually spoken with a lot of seasoned foster and adoptive parents, and they said they either already vacation with other foster and adoptive families, or they wish they had other foster and adoptive families to vacation with. So that's a huge thing. But yeah, it's gonna, the price point is $1,000 under what Universal would charge just for tickets and lodging and their meal plan. But we're also offering you guides that are gonna get you around the park, help you with just your family's special needs, and also just, yeah, different things that you need, the camaraderie and different things that you need with that. If anyone has any questions, let us know, because I know on different areas online and social media, people were asking questions about this trip. This trip is going to be October 7th through 12th. We chose that because that just happens to be East Tennessee's fall break, and it worked well for us. Not only that, but it's really good for just the weather. That was a big one.
The weather is great, and it's a lower season. It's not peak season, so there'll be less people in the park, which of course creates less stimuli and makes it a little bit easier on kiddos who have sensory processing or different special needs, trauma.
And I know people asked us about going in the summertime, and we have gone in the summertime, but I will say that we've gone once our kids were with us for a while, and I know everyone has a rougher time in the heat, and it's hot in Florida. It is hot. Even the locals say it's hot. So like it's just harder to deal with things, and to, like, if you're about on the verge of having a meltdown. I've had meltdowns before, and I don't come from a trauma background. It's just the heat makes everything harder to deal with. So having it in October is just going to be a lot more fun, a lot easier for people to handle and get a hold of things. I did have one person ask me online about travel. Travel is not included in this trip. You are responsible for your own travel. Thunderbird Travel, again, if you go to our website page, transfiguringadoption.com/vacation, Thunderbird Travel's information's on there. They would love to help you if you need to get plane tickets, if you need to figure out how to get to Orlando in an inexpensive way. Definitely check them out. They'll help, but it is not included in the price of the trip. Also, breakfast is not included in the price of the trip. The on-site lodging does have a kitchenette in all the family suites. So usually what we do is if we want to do something easy, we get a bunch of Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches, and we just pop them in the microwave before. Yeah,
because there's not an actual stove in these.
Right.
We've stayed in it before, in Cabana Bay before, and it's like microwave, sink, counter, some cabinets, and a small fridge. So
really comfortable place though. The suites are wonderful. Like and the staff is really helpful. And we just find that the staff of Universal in general are just very accommodating to people that have like families that have special needs. You just have to be vocal about it sometimes and let them know. Obviously, because our kids don't physically look like they have special needs all the time, you just have to let them know what your special needs are so that they can help take care of that. So if you're not a squeaky wheel, you're not going to get taken care of. But they're really friendly about it and really quick to help out. Cabana Bay does have a restaurant that you can buy breakfast at. So
I have a food court. They have
several
several
food court, yeah.
Cabana Bay is really cool. It's a great big resort. There's even bowling alley and there's gift shops and all kinds of stuff in there for even just when you're hanging around the resort.
People are asking too about what the guides will be doing. So we are going to be taking you around the parks. We have all 4 of us that are going love Universal Studios. We have a lot of fun, so we're very familiar with the parks. At one time, so there's this woman that's kind of our guru with she's our guru with like foster and adoptive care stuff. She recently passed away, a year or so ago, Karen Purvis, and she does so great with handling kids. And where I'm going with this is one time she was able to say, hey, I need this kid needs something to drink. Go get something to drink. And I remember people saying, well, yeah, I'd be a great parent too if I could look at someone and say, hey, go get something to drink. I need something to drink. Well, that's kind of what our guides are going to be. Like if your child's having a meltdown or they need something, if you need first aid, if you need a drink, we're going to be kind of runners for you. We're also going to be able there to kind of look and assess things and kind of tell you, hey, it looks like a meltdown might be coming on. Do we need to stop? Do you need to get a drink? Do we need to go to the bathroom? What were you going to say?
We know places in the park that are quiet, that are good to go to, that are cool. If it's a hot day, that kind of thing, places to get away and kind of take a sensory break from all the stimuli.
So yeah, it'll actually be just great to have people there because we'll just kind of be your knowledge and your hands and your feet for you. We won't be able to do things like give your child medication. We won't be able to take kids to the bathroom. When it comes down to it, you are still in charge of your family. You're still in charge of your child. You're still in charge of everything going on. So yeah. Do you have anything else? Questions or anything? Do you need to get going?
Yes.
Okay. We'll say goodbye to Margie and I'll ramble a little bit longer if anyone has any other questions or anything. But we aren't going to be able to give your child medication or do anything like that. You are going to be responsible for your own child's well-being and safety and your family. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? So let me know if you have any other questions. I'm going to stay on here for a few minutes longer and ramble. Those were a couple of questions that we received. As far as paying for the trip, let's pretend like you have a family of 6. The trip cost is $4,992. Universal Studios would charge $5,962. But our family of 6 price that our travel agent has gotten us is $4,992. We do ask that you put a $400 deposit down, and that's due at signing. Simply, you're going to call Thunderbird Travel. Again, that's on our website, transfiguringadoption.com/vacation. Call them. You're going to reserve your spot. You're going to, so that we can keep the trip as cheap as possible. We're not going to take credit cards. We're going to take checks so that we don't get credit card fees, because with this large amount, it's really going to dig in and hike the price up of the trip. So they're going to have you send in a $400 deposit. And that is also going to include your family traveler's insurance. And we're asking that families get that because we know from experience, just with having children that have special needs, you might have to cancel your trip and you need to be able to recoup the price of the trip and stuff like that in case you have to cancel or bail out or something happens along on the trip. It's just a good idea to have that traveler's insurance. You will have to completely have the trip paid off 60 days before the trip. But all we're asking at first, just to hold your spot, is to put $400 down. Parking at Cabana Bay Resort is not included. for whatever reason, Cabana Bay does not let us pay for that up front. You have to pay for it individually when you get there, so you will have to pay for that when you get there, and that is $12 a night. But we are staying on site, and there are just some unbelievable benefits to staying on site, including that we're just right next door to Universal Studios. So every morning we don't have to drive over there. We just have to hop in a bus, go over there. If your family is not feeling it that day on the trip and you just need to get back to the hotel and rest for a little while, you're going to be able to hop a bus and you'll be right back at the hotel ready to rest. And then if you want to go back to the park again and meet up with the group, you can do that really easily. But again, it's going to be a $400 deposit. If you can get your $400 deposit in before the end of January, we are going to take $100 off the price of the trip. So that's a huge thing. If you can get your $400 deposit in before the end of January, we will give you $100 off the price of the trip. So definitely check that out. Get that in. The other thing we're going to ask you to do when you put down your deposit is we're going to ask that you fill out a family questionnaire form that's on our website. The family questionnaire form is going to take you through a series of questions so we can start to understand your family better, so that we can put together an itinerary that's going to help your family as much as possible, and the other families too. It's also just going to do things like just help us to understand what you're expecting and what you're really wanting to do. I know, like, there's some people, there's one questionnaire that we received from a family that really wants to go see Marvel Superhero Island, and that's their big thing, that if they can do anything on the trip, they want to go see Marvel Superhero Island. I know other people obviously have spoken with us and they want to go see the Wizarding World. So we just need to get an idea of what everyone's hoping to see, and make sure that we hit everything as much as possible. I know that hopefully to help families while we're on this trip, we are going to, while a lot of people, check it out when you're in an amusement park next time, a lot of families will overdo it in the park, and you have kids and adults just melting down and just carrying on. We're going to try to make sure it's sticking to an itinerary that our group has fun, by making sure that when we hit our limit for the day, that we are done at an early and decent time, that we're well fed, we're hydrated, and that we're back at the hotel resting so that we can start another day of fun. But I'm not getting any more questions, so I am going to wrap this up. Please go check out our website at transfiguringadoption.com/vacation. Definitely check that out. Leave a comment below if you're not watching this live and you have any questions for us, that we can get those answered for you. We're really hoping to get these 8 spots filled quick so that we can plan this trip for you, because again, our primary goal is to help you to have positive memories from this trip that you're going to treasure for a lifetime. So if you can, the more people that we can get signed up and committed to this trip, the more fun we're going to have, because we're going to be able to plan things, get things ready for you, and we'll be able to do fun things like make Facebook group pages and stuff like that, so that everyone can kind of meet each other and get to know each other. And we're going to Margie and I are going to start doing some tips and strategies just to prepare your family and your kids before you even go on the trip, and different things we do with our family before we go on a major trip like this, so that they're ready to go and ready to have as much fun as possible. So we hope we're helping you to nurture and grow your foster adoptive family. I'm Darren Fink. Margie was on here earlier with Transfiguring Adoption. Go check out our website. Let us know your questions, and we hope you can come on this fantastic trip opportunity with us. transfiguringadoption.com/vacation. And Periscope, I am going to end you. Let's see, I'm going to stop broadcast on you, and YouTube is going to be my last. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If I can find